Easy going world. I'm just really happy right now, taking in this moment. You guys can't see, but there's a huge pond in front of us. And this really special gem that Kaethe just introduced me to here on the Our HumaNature Podcast, right here on NOMADAEUS. I've got a special guest for you guys today. I've got some performances to show you in this interview. We're going to get into a really good discussion. And this is a special gem herself, found here in Santa Cruz, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, my name is Kaethe Hostetter, and how much would you like me to tell you?
Well, who are you as a being? One thing we do here on the Our HumaNature Podcast, it is about you, but I brought you on. I brought you on because I feel like you're someone who's inquisitive, because you jumped over into something that is of a different culture that you might have grown up with, that you fully immerse yourself into, and just from a human being's perspective, I feel like you have some really good insights. So
Thank
as
you.
a human being, like before we get into what you do,
Yeah.
who is Kaethe?
I think I'm a curious person. It's funny you brought the word inquisitive because as a kid, I didn't know what the word inquisitive meant, but people were always saying, "You are one inquisitive little girl." And I was like, okay, what does that mean? But I think I was definitely pestering people with questions and curiosity, and I loved stumping adults. And but yeah, I've had a curiosity that's brought me really far, I have to say, and been able to, also curiosity can be a little tough for other people. People are like, you're asking a lot of questions. And especially, in Ethiopia, that's something you have to be really careful about, because a lot of times people don't want to talk too much about their anything personal.
That's so interesting that you bring that up. Well, I bet you guys are wondering, how does Kaethe know about Ethiopia? Kaethe is a violinist, in my opinion, also a DJ. Right?
Yeah.
Solo show, and also has a quintet called QWANQWA, featuring Idris
Yes.
on the masinko, Bubu on the bass karar,
Yeah.
Amnesh on vocals,
Yeah.
and Masale on Kaethe on Amharic. And so, Kaethe, you spent 11 years now?
I did. I spent 11 years in Ethiopia, living there full time, coming and going, for different projects as you do. But I was based there for 11 years. And before even that, I was involved in Ethiopian music.
Really?
Much before that.
Oh, like
with
here?
Debo Band.
Oh, yeah. So, Debo Band, you were doing that here in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yes. And that was really I think maybe 2002, 3, or 4, somewhere in there is when the seeds of Debo Band were planted. And so, yeah.
How did that connection with Danny change your career?
Well, just brought one focus. My career could have gone a lot of different ways. I was already a musician, and that was clear. But what focus was it going to be? I wasn't sure, and I wasn't actually looking for a specific focus. But it was like a really, really different, exciting music that also had that. The way it came to me was with a lot of friendship and personality, and all these Danny and all the people we met through Danny, and we were friends with an Eritrean woman-owned restaurant down the street from where we all lived. And
where was this?
This is in Boston.
Okay.
So yeah.
What year did you meet Danny?
I think I met him, 2002, 3, or 4. I can't
So
actually be sure right now. Yeah, actually, indeed. Yeah, so I've been involved that long. Yeah.
I'm the physical product of how long you've been playing.
Amazing.
I was born in 01.
Oh my god, amazing.
So a whole human has come to interview you
Wow.
in the time that you've been working. That's amazing. Yeah, and that's why I brought up. I feel like you're inquisitive because to go into something that one, you didn't know the language, you didn't grow up around the language.
Yeah.
You had to learn our notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also, it's a shift in you learning culture, but it's a you shifting and learning musical culture as well. Right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, so I also speak some French, and I've been interested in other European kinds of music. So it wasn't the first culture I visited, Ethiopian music.
I see.
Inquisitive.
I
so
see. Yeah, you're right.
always been into different stuff. But Ethiopian music was such a leap for me because but somehow it was speaking to me too. So it was so different and mysterious / really attractive to me. So
what did you hear first? Like, do you remember your first introductions? It doesn't be the first person, but who were your first introductions to Ethiopian music that pulled you in?
It was definitely from Ethiopics. It's probably like
which album?
I love the Tigrinya album number 5.
Yes.
And Getachew Makodia.
Yes.
The saxophone.
Yes.
I think it's 12.
Yeah, I believe so. The orange one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you also play songs from the Visita album as well.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
You played a Ayalo Masfin song.
Yeah.
You played a Girma Beyene song.
Yeah.
So you've listened to the whole Ethiopics 1 through 30, huh?
Yeah, and that's one person selection. That's the Francis Falsetto's selection of Ethiopian music, which is such a great playlist, of 35 albums now.
Yeah.
But there's other collectors too that I keep close track of and I'm friends with and stuff.
Let's put us on, please.
DJ Midmita and let's see, there's some other like ethnographic recordings and my friend Anne Boulay, she was an amazing French ethnographic researcher. She, there's been a lot of people that have sent me music. There's characters in Addis who collect music. Yayu Yaharat, he's an amazing collector of music. Hurui Adafine, he's a lot of people have shaped my taste since my first taste with Francis's
introduction.
Yeah.
What year were you introduced? Do you remember?
Yeah, something like that, like 2002, 3, 2.
And immediately you knew. Like, this is
I just loved it. Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's a spiritual calling right there.
Yeah.
Here you are today, and for me that was, your music is traveling. You travel and far from home. I'm far from home, many different places, and so to hear you in Santa Cruz, to hear you in LA, it really takes you back home. And one thing I love that you said in another interview, you talked about how a lot of what Ethiopian audience is called to is vocals, and instrumentalists are overlooked.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that? That's almost like a shift in generation, because my parents are the ones they're the ones who hear, they can tell when a song is redone or when it's the original, just off the small notes.
Right.
So they're the ones who grew up on Mulatu, who grew up on Mary Ahmed, also with the Quran, with Askanachwaku.
Yeah.
Asnakach. There you go. Thank you very much. Ooh, look at she just caught me. Yes, thank you. So it's refreshing for us, the young generation, for you to bring it back, because for me, a part of that I crave is that Asmari culture.
Yeah.
One of my favorites Asmaris is Yezina. Yezina Nagash.
I don't know her.
You probably heard her song. Okay. She's on the Ethiopics number 3.
Oh, okay.
She plays Sukota on there. She also has a jazz version with the jazz album?
Yes.
Who was that done by? Do you know that?
Well, there's
the yellow one?
Yeah. Who is that?
Is it another? I think it's another French band.
Yeah, or it's not the German guys.
It might
The
be.
Jazz Maris.
It
There's
might
one
be.
of them, and there's a couple. I think, but yeah.
Yeah. So from the young like diaspora, we thank you.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things I did see was I saw you live with Teddy Afro.
Yes.
And I wanted to know how that came about.
How did it come? Well, I kind of have the market cornered on certain kind of violin, so and meanwhile I am trying to while I was in Ethiopia I was helping as much as I could to connect with other violinists in Addis, and I tried to meet everyone I could who's a violin person. There's a handful. Yeah, there's a handful.
Like
Really,
what kind of?
mostly classical, so there isn't that much crossover.
Classical Western?
Yeah,
Oh,
classical
wow.
Western. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
But I guess Teddy must have heard of me. He brought me in to record, and there's Maraki,
Okay.
and then there's Kakane.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah, that reggae song?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm on those, and there might be more. That was one album.
Oh, so you worked with Teddy before the Ethiopian album?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. For those who don't know, Teddy Afro is one of the greatest Ethiopian artists of my time, for sure. It will go down in history as one of the greatest Ethiopian artists. I think he's an amazing composer.
Yeah.
How he puts the sound. My dad, I'll say for my dad watching this, my dad is a very harsh critique of Teddy Afro.
Yeah.
More on because my dad's there for the vocals.
Yeah.
And I can understand where he's coming from.
Right.
But Teddy comes with a message.
Yes.
Full feeling of his music.
Yeah.
He really tunes into the time.
Right.
Of what's going in. And his music really unites people.
It does. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've seen that even as someone?
At the shows,
Yeah?
it's amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I mean,
Huge
people
crowds.
are huge crowds, and people are just like, I love it. Like our last show, there was no alcohol, and it was just people were
Really?
just like so
Ethiopia?
transformed. Yeah, I think
No
there was
alcohol?
no alcohol allowed at the Mescal Flower
What?
show. Yeah, Mescal Square show.
Oh, okay, Mescal Square. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
So it was really, really cool because
Wow.
it was, to me, because it was just a beautiful, just super pure passion. And it wasn't that late, too. It was like, it was in the night, but it wasn't like 2 a.m. or anything. It was like, yeah, reasonable.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's special also about Kaethe አማርኛ ትናገራለች ትሰማለች ታንበባለች እኔም ችግር የለውም አብረን እንማር እና ከየት ነው የአማርኛ የተማር ቆይ ከየት ነው ወደ አማርኛ የተማረች ነበር?
ከጓደኞቼ ጋር ብዙ ነገር ያሳኛል። ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ
ላይክ በክላስ ነው ወንጭ ዝም ብለው በንግግር
ከጓደኞቼ ጋር ሳወራን ከጓደኞቼ ጋር
በጣም ይገርማል።
መንገድ ላይ
በጣም ይገርማል። አክሰንቱ አለሽ። ቅድም ስንሰማው አንድ ኢንተርቪው ላይ ቋንቋሽ ትችላለሽ። ኦኬ ለነሱ can we show them? እሺ ቀ ትችላለሽ? ትችላለሽ። አንድ አለ ጰ
I don't usually say it.
Like papas. Yeah, wow. Go was not. That's amazing. Thank you for learning our language, really showing us respect.
It's my treat, it is my treasure to I find it one of the most beautiful languages, and just so symbolic and so full of it's earthly. It's like very connected to the heart and to nature and all that stuff. So I learn a lot of conceptual things from learning Amharic, 'Cause when you really think about it, you're like, oh, what are you saying? Oh, that's really like visceral and stuff like that. So I love, and I want to learn more. I mean, I can speak basic Amharic, but I have a ways to go, and I need to study it more.
You're right. It is. You're right. Like from someone who I grew up listening, it was one of my first languages, but then I forgot it very early learning English, to now come back and relearn it on my own, and then think about why I say the certain things I do in English and versus how they come out in Amharic.
Yeah.
It really, you feel the difference in just how you say things, like
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you? Yeah, people don't say it like that.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like the certain things allow it to flow and allow you to have conversation and slowly really get into things. But
yeah.
Before we get into more things, I want to show you guys this performance that Kaethe gave to us yesterday. So check this out real quick before we go on.
All right.
So I'm doing all live looping up here. If anybody's wondering, there's nothing pre-recorded. I'm just kind of creating it as I go. And this next piece is, let's see, it's a melody that I learned from an elder singer who reinvigorated his career before my very eyes while I was in Addis. And he was sort of a crooner that, like more of a metropolitan nightlife type of singer. And he gave up music after recording like 5 hit songs in the 70s. But what happened to him is while I was there, this group of filmmakers was coming back to Addis to do a documentary about that time, and they interviewed him, and him telling all those stories and reaching back into his memories made him remember all his great times, and he took the stage again. And the kind of music that he was playing, he was like, I need you on this show. Can you do the show? Can you do the show? And so I started playing with him a lot. And Girma Beyene is his name. He has a new album. It's a few years old now, but yeah, that's his name. And this is one of his songs. It's a love song.
What'd you guys think? Pretty good, right? Pretty good. Top notch. Very psychedelic. Very electric is the way I like to the word I like to use. It really helps me feel the electricity.
Mm.
Do you feel that when you play your music?
Yeah, I definitely feel like a conduit when I'm playing the Ethiopian music.
Especially because you use loops.
Yeah.
You distort the sound.
Yeah.
How did you develop? How did you go from just playing the violin to now looping and creating it into a more electric feel?
Well, I was inspired by a lot of those. I just wanted to step further outside of what's possible in acoustic violin.
Yeah.
Looping, partly because my band is in Ethiopia, so how am I gonna continue my relationship and my deep dive into that music? But also, my set, which is I call Impressions of Ethiopia, is it is very personal. So for that, I need a little bit more tools than just what the violin can do acoustically. So I just use a looper and try and use different effects to get the sound out. Use more colors and more different sounds and to dig in. Yeah. I
think my fascination was happening throughout, but interestingly, it hit the peak at the end with the Gurage song that you played, because you managed to create a full Gurage song with loops and simply a violin, and that just changed my mind on the perception of how to create sound. Like what really is sound. It's similar to like how when they use pianos to symbolize a voice in song. But you're just very. It's for the people watching. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. But when traveling, one thing I was wondering is in the shows that I went.
With QWANQWA.
Yeah, with QWANQWA, specifically QWANQWA, which is a band you've been together with how many years now?
Maybe like more than 10.
10 years?
Yeah.
The audience was not very heavy on the Habesha side.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So when traveling on tours, where have you had the largest Ethiopian, Eritrean, Habesha audience? Where do you have the most listeners?
Interestingly, I haven't quite figured out how to connect with the Ethiopian community. I mean, I do, which just seems really, really strange to me. I purposely am contacting like either people I know in each city and asking them, please tell your friends. And I know there's a lot of like Ethiopian community organizations like in Atlanta, Minneapolis, all different places, Philly, but it's actually been pretty hard to find the Ethiopian audience. Philly was a really good turnout. They have really strong youth Ethiopian, really, really strong, very well organized. A lot of women in that group that are strong and really interested in connecting with the culture.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a great turnout, and but yeah, it's usually 10% at the most of our audience will be there, and
are they the ones leading the dances?
Yes. And as soon as we see that, we're like, yay, because they can lead and they can kind of make everyone feel at ease.
Yes, you're right.
And then everyone freaks out and does their own thing, but at least they get a license to. They're like, yeah, this is a really good dance fun, and they get some cool ideas, and then it's beautiful to watch from the stage how it can mix.
The energy shift.
Yeah.
Someone came up to me after the show in Santa Cruz during the intermission, or I think it was during the intermission. They said, "Thank you so much for dancing because you really cut the air."
Yeah.
That was in there. It's almost like people wanted to dance,
right?
But they didn't feel like they had the license. I love that.
Yeah.
Until they saw somebody like, "Oh, it's okay to move my body."
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little weird.
Exactly. And then a lot of people, they're just trying to, there's a lot of new rhythms to embody. So
Yeah.
how else are you going to really feel and understand what's going on unless you can move a little bit?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Can you dance?
I'm not a good Ethiopian dancer.
It's 'cause that's
I'm
you.
really not. It's not.
I was
I'm
like-
usually busy, but
We need you.
Yeah,
Nobody has to see the masinko player or the violinist dance.
Right.
They're always playing.
yeah. I want to be a better dancer, but
Well,
We'll see.
I'll teach you how to dance.
okay, great,
I got
great,
that.
great.
That's for sure.
That'd be great.
So QWANQWA,
Mhm.
the name is amazing. Simple.
Yeah. I have to credit our friend Yayu, who we worked with early on. One day I was looking, I had an ensemble, and he is the one that suggested that name, and it was just a perfect word because we've taken it to mean music as universal language, and and it's just simple. It's not like the QWANQWA or
You're
anything
right.
like this.
You're
It's just it's such a concept.
Yes.
And then
You're right.
it's like I also really appreciate like what's it called, like cross training different things. So it's like, it's a language, it's music, but it all is, so that's, and then I love how it looks.
Yes.
QWANQWA is beautiful both in Latin script and English, and in Amharic it's like,
3 letters.
3, and it's
Same way back both ways.
yep. It's symmetrical and palindrome, and it's just a lot of fun images to work with. And then with QWANQWA, the way we spell it with a QW, it's like,
That's
Anyway.
that's actually interesting. Yeah, it's not a palindrome in Latin or in English.
right. It's close.
Yeah,
it
it is close.
isn't. It isn't exactly, but
It's the same thing twice. QWANQWA.
Yeah.
Except the N is what is that bridge.
exactly, which is a nice like visual image to me as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah. So I know that I've seen your album covers, and you started off with different members.
yes.
And so how did you come to working with? I want to know. Tell me the story about
Oh,
meeting
yeah.
Kuku and Dries and Sale.
Yeah. All the current band members are people that I met, I think, like very early when I arrived in Ethiopia. They're already all very busy, popular musicians.
Them themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Masai and Dries, Bubu, Salamnish. And really I met them like early on at Fendika. And at
Kamala Kugara.
and also at Allianz, and they were playing at Alize and all these different places that were active at that time.
In Addis Ababa?
Yes. But since they were so busy, I was still developing my my own sound. So I was like, let me find some people that are a little more hidden in the really amazing musicians that might have more time, because they were all really busy, and I didn't want to bother them, I think. But Masela, he was also a friend of mine, and really well known karar player. So we worked together.
That was the first karar player.
Yes. Yeah, lead karar he played. Yeah, we worked together for a long time.
He's the one with the hat and the album cover. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So Masala, and then we brought Salamnish in. Oh, I was, as I was saying in the other interview that you referenced, I really wanted to highlight the musicianship of the instrumentalists. But at a certain point, in that structure, I would be the most visible person.
Yeah.
And that is not my most comfortable position on stage. My most comfortable position is second in the most visible, or somewhere in the middle, Definitely not in the front woman. I like to contribute to the overall sound of the group, and I can stand out and do my thing, but Salamnish is born for that.
You're right, that's true.
So,
that's 100% true.
Yeah. So that's why, and then I was already working with her. We had a duo, just herself and me.
You have an album?
No, we just...
I was about to say, don't tell me there's more.
Yeah. But and then she would come to US and do collaborations, and yeah.
So you guys are very close.
Yes,
Wow.
we've been close for years and years.
So አንቺ አማርኛ ተናግሪያለሽ ከሷ ጋር?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. She doesn't really speak English.
Yeah.
Um,
So you knew her during Nile Project.
yes.
During
Oh, I
Body
helped
May.
her with the Now Project and
Oh, yeah.
helped her get that gig, and
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, she was obviously the
Yeah.
one for that. So
I love her Yab by Waha song.
yeah.
My
Me
dad. That's my dad's
too.
favorite
Aw,
song. He cries every time.
Oh.
'Cause it takes him back to just a memory back in Body Back.
Mm-hmm.
When they used to just sing it out loud walking. And then now and then you know she's singing her own recreated version.
Yeah.
But her voice is just it screams the country.
Yeah.
Power.
Yes.
You know, it's almost like a raspy voice.
Yeah.
She has?
Yeah.
But that is the Asmani.
It is.
And it's like
She's working every night, so yeah, she has that sound.
and she's been around for a long time, right?
Yes, she has. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's had a career of 20 plus years.
Why is it that maybe you might know why is it that she's not highlighted very much?
In Ethiopia?
I can't speak for Ethiopia. Because I'm not there.
Uh-huh.
But I would say outside of Ethiopia, especially in the US,
Yeah.
I feel like most people I know don't know her.
Yeah.
Is one thing I'll say.
Yeah.
She has her Korao
Right.
album,
Yeah.
Badume's album.
Right.
But I've seen her videos on YouTube out for over 16 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm really not the one to know about how people get more visible or not. Yeah.
But
She
you
should be
see-
though. I mean,
Right?
she to me, she's my favorite singer, and I'm so lucky to work with her. Yeah.
We're the same.
She's
She is
her-
my favorite singer as well.
She is just like, and a lot of people are just like, cannot believe what happened to them after they see her. So
And she's more than a singer. She's what an entertainer is.
yeah,
Or the Ethiopian version of just an Asmani. With someone who sings.
yeah,
Her facial expressions are engaging.
right,
She's dancing with you.
yeah,
And it seems like she's having the best time.
yeah. Every single night. she's
And
like
that's
that.
what amazed when you guys said you guys just had a show the day before, the same day.
Yeah,
She comes out and she gives it's as if she just woke up
yeah, right.
and just gives her 100 more than 100%.
Yeah,
And that feeds into all of you guys.
it
I
does.
watched that.
Every bandmate, she does it so consistently, so unwaveringly, so dedicated to every single show, no matter who's there, how small, if they're paying attention, if they're not. No
Yeah,
matter
right?
what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Mm.
There's no difference in her dedication. Nothing can touch her. And all the other bandmates are like that too. It's actually a culture of professionalism
Yeah.
that I haven't seen in a lot of American groups. You know, these 4 collaborators of mine are just top professional level. They know how to focus, how to be ready to give it their all every single night. So yeah, it's cool. I learn a lot from them. I'm inspired by them for that. Yeah.
Well, Kaethe, this has been a really amazing time with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here with me. I want to just ask you one last question.
Yeah.
What does human nature mean to you?
Whoa. Do you mean like what are we born for? Or can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah. It's a good question. It's like humanity and human nature are pretty close, right?
Yeah. Well, human nature can be like, what is human nature like? What does a human do? But humanity is a little bit more, what is your purpose? Human nature is a little bit more scientific. I would say humanity is a little bit more, what is the goal of, or I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, maybe another way I'll try.
Yeah.
ሰው ተፈጥሮ ምን ማለት ነው? See how it processes really easier? You know when you say like,
what's the natural thing of humanity, of humans? Well, I think the way that is more used, and I'm not completely sure.
well, you're valid. You're a human.
Yeah. But the way that from the Amharic, that's speaking more of like an innocence, I think. Or
That's true
pretty
too.
hard.
No,
I
you're
don't
actually
know.
on. You know why? Because when we say like limited non desayarga,
Yeah. It's sort
Like
of like
it's
you're
deep.
drawn to do it without really thinking too much about it. Whereas, go ahead.
I agree. I think we're on the same page. For me, when I think of human nature, I think of what's instinctual to us.
Yeah.
Like what were we naturally born with? What were the gifts we were given? I can smell, I can hear,
Yeah.
but I can feel. I
Yeah.
can communicate. QWANQWA.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Yes.
We can play music. Like,
Yeah.
and that's why there's so many different people have a different relationship to what human nature is.
Mm-hmm.
And you really brought us together today.
Yay.
So
Well, I
thank you.
believe human nature deep down is positive, and thank you for a great conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Namaste.
Amen. Thank you for being so attentive, and I've really enjoyed being here, and this view from here is amazing. So what a fun afternoon. See you guys out there. Thank you so much. Thank you.